Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop RPGs with friends. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays. It's a 4-year-long series that I've been running for the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is this amazing worldwide group of friends and aficionados of small press, indie, and Chihuahua barking in the background flavored RPG. So small press stuff. And Star Wars Star Wars Saturdays is this anthology series that I've been running for various Gauntlet members, where each month I choose a different tabletop RPG and reskin it into Star Wars. And for this month, I'm running a 2-shot with these folks of a game called Trouble for Hire. Trouble for Hire is put out by Nathan D. Paoletta. You can get it on his website or on Drive-Thru RPG or Itch, or there's lots of different places. Just search for Trouble for Hire RPG. I'm sorry, that is Beaker. He's very excited about guest starring in our show by being annoying. So Trouble for Hire was originally released three-ish years ago, I believe. And it has a lot of physical elements to it. Assumed that we played at a table. I've done my best to emulate a tabletop for our play. It is a GM-less game where each of the players, we're all players, choose a role. And there is a protagonist in Trouble for Hire, which is styled as a 70s car-themed grindhousey action movie in the kind of Southwest-ish with some hazy experimental ideas of that schlocky but also kind of creative movie experience. Not from the 70s, but feel a lot of Tarantino-ish here going on with the game. So the idea is that Ruben Carlos Ruiz is the protagonist of our game. That role will be shared amongst us, meaning one person at any one time will be playing Ruben. The rest of us will play the world, the antagonists, the friends, all the things that Ruben interacts with. So this is a GM-full game in that a lot of the aspects of being a GM have been split up amongst the rest of the group. There's a cool token economy, and we even get to roll some dice. So I'm pretty excited to get to this to the table. I have, in my reskinning of this game to Star Wars, I have not renamed Ruben Carlos Ruiz. I have not renamed any of the roles, which are kind of Spanish, but like a Spanglish thing. That's an aesthetic choice of the designer, Kevin Allen Jr. And I've just let that be because the PDF of this game is beautiful, beyond words beautiful, like one of the prettiest games that I have read in many, many months. And so I've just left it as is. I have reskinned the adventure so that it fits in Star Wars, and I am revisiting the Tatooine setting because it's Star Wars, so everybody's got to go to Tatooine once in Star Wars, evidently. That said, I previously in Star Wars Saturdays have used the Edge of the Empire, which is an official, I know it's like an official Star Wars RPG. I do that from time to time. I steal from those games. I don't run those games, but I steal from them. Moshuta was this cool little, it's not Mos Eisley, but cool setting, a small town that's up on a plateau. And I like it. So I stole that map, and that's where this game will take place. Let's see. We do have safety tools that we are using. The game itself has what's called the 3 lights, but on top of that, and a little more fulsome, we're using lines and veils and ask first. We do have a number of things that we have lines on, and that means that that's content we're not interested in having in our story. And then we have a veil on sexual content, and I put an ask first on midichlorians because discussion of midichlorians sometimes makes me feel weird. Let's see. We also have the X card, so if there's something we did not realized we would need to put a liner veil on, and it just kind of cropped up on us and it bothers us for whatever reason. You don't have to defend yourself. You can say, hey, I need to X card a thing. The only question I'll ask, will not ask you to defend us, your stance or explain yourself. That doesn't matter to me. You say it harms your fun, then let's take care of it. I may ask for clarification. Was it this or other? If there could be several objectionable things at once, and I want to know which one do we extract from our play. We'll excise that from our play and we'll continue on. And then we do have the open door, which means that anybody who needs to go take care of grown-up things or not grown-up things, the case may be, you can go. Just like Sabine, just boom, disappeared. If you can give us a heads up that you'll be gone for X amount of time, awesome. If you can't or just don't know, that's fine. We'll work around it. We're smart. We're creative. There are a bunch of beautiful brains here. I know we can find our way around it. So that's my preamble. Let's go around the horn, and if you could introduce yourself and tell us what role you have chosen. I have been foisted upon me the Ruben Carlos Ruiz role, so I'll take it happily. Thank you all. Let's start with Sherry. If you could introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your role.
Hi, my name is Sherry. I use she, her pronouns, and my role is Los Campañero. And I am playing let's see here. I'm going to get this right. A Lanai, named Tia. So she's a little sister of the Wills, a tiny nun, essentially, who is going to be helping Ruben throughout all of this.
Just here. I must show the picture.
You must show the picture.
Yeah, the picture has to be shown. So let me yeah, there we go. This is who we're playing. Tia. She's so cute. All right. Thank you so much, Sherry. Sabine, if you could.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I am going to play Los Espectadores. Basically, the people, the extras, the NPCs that are maybe in the way, maybe jump out of the way, answer some questions, make snarky remarks, stuff like that. But they don't have a name, and they're just kind of window dressing, but moving window dressing with opinions.
Nice. I like that. Good. Thank you, Sabine. Last but certainly not least, Cody, if you can introduce yourself and tell us about your role.
Hey, yeah. My name's Cody. I use the he, him pronouns. I'm playing the road through the world, the clouds in the sky, the dirt in the ground, and things in between. So I'm playing the setting.
Nice. Cool. So I'm going to talk with our Los Campañero, like player to player, to figure out where do we want to start off? Do we want to start off with...
Which, if I might jump in, actually.
Ooh, yeah, all right, there we go.
Ruben and Tia Los Campañero are rushing down a jungle and waste canyon. The red desert and rock backdropped behind them. The suns of Tatooine are dropping low. It is dusk, early afternoon shifting to dusk. You can see ahead of you a bantha and perhaps a small family of Tusken raiders working their way across the edge line, the horizon line, excuse me. Your rickety speeder is backfiring like nobody's business. You can hear it every few seconds, a kickback, and it echoes out through the canyon, and you can see the rocks shaking ever so slightly. If you keep on at the rate you're going, you might have a problem with those rocks up ahead.
Oh, I think as you cut to Ruben, he's steering, but for me, it's Tia she has sort of gotten out of her passenger seat and she's crawling along the back of the speeder. She's got like that big rake that the nuns use to keep the gardens raked and perfect. And she's sort of heading out there. It looks like she's going to do something to maybe help the engine or something. And she reaches out with that rake And instead what you do is you see that she's reached it up to pick some of the fruit on the trees that you're going by. And essentially you see this, this big like orange, bumpy fruit come down, and she catches it. And at that moment she starts to fall. She's like lost her grip, and she catches on and she swings around, and her leg comes back around, and her little toes, essentially, she tries to scramble for purchase, and she hits something on the engine, and it makes a explosion that it's like the great blowout right then, and there's a huge burst of speed. Her eyes get very wide.
And Ruben's a tough customer. He's a Han Solo-y kind of guy. So there's just a moment of and the engine starts to blow, and he eases off, and he's gonna, there's no side of the road to pull. There's no road, right? So he just eases off on the engine and taps the little display gauge at the top. And are you all right?
Tia sort of like looks up, she crawls forward, and she hands you the fruit.
Thank you. And he takes a bite out of the fruit and hops over the side. And of course, it's a speeder, so it's just at this level plane hovering in the air, goes over and pops open the engine and tries to take a look.
As you open the hood of your engine, as it were, a wind picks up and blows the smoke away from the speeder off into the canyon. It's quite cold. This looks like it's going to be one of the few cold Tatooine nights.
Since you're just standing there, that Tuscan family seems to kind of take an interest. They're not doing anything much, but they are looking your way, and one of them is shaking a bit his gaffy stick around a bit, but it's not, maybe he's just trying to get the sand off it. Could be threatening, we don't know.
Tia, do you know anything about the Sand People?
I think she'll turn back and look at them, and she'll lift her stick too.
Would you like to? So this is me, because I love the RPM thing. Do you want to be a know-it-all and introduce a fact about the Sand People? Which, whether true in Star Wars or not, will be true for this story?
Yeah, I think that that essentially what it is that she has essentially, she knows enough language to invite them to dinner. So that's what she's done. So they start coming towards, and she goes and gets out her big satchel.
I hope you have more food in there, fruits or something. All I have is a food bar.
She nods. And yeah, I think you see her, and when she gets the satchel, it's huge. It's big, and it's very heavy, and she's sort of dragging it along behind her.
Okay. Do you?
Well, the Tuscans are suspicious, right? They are not used to people inviting them. They don't know what to do about this.
Yeah, she'll just
So maybe this.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I will do a challenge here, because you need to know about these people, right? Find the right contacts and stuff like that, Ruben, and get some help, maybe fixing your speeder.
Let's get some dice.
I'm paying 2 RPM if that's cool.
That is totally cool. All right. So,
Okay.
By the way, I just want to check in, since we're at a brief break, Sherry, for TI introducing to I know how to talk to them, and this is how you invite them to dinner. I went ahead and took the 2 RPM. Is that cool?
That's cool.
I just want to make sure that was your intent.
I traditionally don't pay attention to those things and then regret it hugely. So I will try to make sure.
We'll keep each other honest. It's all good.
Okay.
All right. So the 2 RPM are already in the progress tracker. You spent that on your thing, and you've created a challenge. Now the scope of the challenge is Ruben and his Campañero able to have a peaceful meeting with the Sand People? Is that what you were thinking?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you know enough how to make this how to make them comfortable enough to share your meal and maybe give you a helping hand.
Okay, cool. Now,
because otherwise they might just leave, or I don't know,
or
turn
worse.
into villanos suddenly.
Awesome.
Or maybe.
So then the Los Campañero, you have a different, like, I can assign stuff. Sorry, I wanna stop for a second and make sure that I'm doing the Campañero role correctly, because you have a special effect, like you have a different set for the role.
Yeah, so I can help you out. And I can do all kinds of things to help you.
All right. So the way that we do a challenge is I will build kick dice. I get 2 dice, and then we need to determine, is this fighting, is this driving, or is it wild card? It's obviously wild card to me. So I will be rolling 2 dice. Do you give a different die, or you just, I think it just...
The companion gets to roll their own die afterwards and then can like swap it. It looks like.
Cool. I like that a lot. All right.
Okay.
So
I thought you would just use the Los Campañero kicker instead of wild card fighting and driving. That's how, I'm sorry, that's how it reads to me. Circumstances of a challenge involves Los Campañero, which they do. Ruben's player may elect to use the Los Campañero kicker. So you roll and you can choose if you want to use the wild card kicker or the Los Campañero kicker, or is there? I mean, that's how it reads to me.
Yeah.
So is the wild card fighting and the driver on Ruben, are those called kickers? Because a kicker usually just means, right, it's added on. It's something plus.
Yeah, they're just called kick dice. So Ruben has 3 kick dice that are always potentially available to him: the driver, fight, and wild card. If the challenge involves Ruben operating a vehicle, then driver die. If it's focused on fighting, auto scrape. Even if it's like guns or a sharp tongue, it's fight die. And then no matter what the circumstances of a challenge, you may always elect to roll the wild card die. But the Campañero describes a companion kick. If La Campañero is involved in the challenge along with Ruben, Ruben's player has access to this extra kick. Only Ruben can be challenged by the story. Just because the sidekick has a kick doesn't mean she gets to be the main character.
And I would also say, just by looking at the companion results, it looks like it refers to another die being rolled.
Okay.
So like, why I keep you around, Los Campañeros action, save Ruben from disaster, replace the results die with a 5. So it sounds like it's rolled.
It does. Yeah. And the 5 says you roll. Okay. So then we're going to go with, I'll double check later, but just so we can move forward, Los Campañeros will roll a die separately and look at their own Los Campañero table. Thank you. All right, so here we go. And I'm labeling this so we can go back and see it later. Here's the Sand People kick dice for me. I got a 6 and a 1. Oh crap. This could be bad.
I got a 3.
You got a 3. Okay. So as we look, the 3 for you is liability. Regardless of results, assign Ruben a consequence. Thanks a lot. So I have 6 and I have a 1. If I were to assign the 1 to results, then I would have to pay 2 RPM to get out of deficit to push up to a 3. I'm already going to get consequences, so that's where I'm leaning. So I'm going to look at the 6 and the 1 on wild card. 6 is kickback. Gain the amount of RPM that was spent on the challenge back. Ooh, nice. Or 1, reversal of fortune. The challenger gets back the amount of RPM they spent on the challenge. The challenger gets those RPM. Ooh, so I would determine either I got to spend 2 RPM to make this happen with consequences. If I choose the 6 to be assigned to wild card and spend the 2 RPM, then I get those back. I'm going to be greedy and do that.
So just to clarify, you're rolling 2 dice and you have to choose 1 to be your result, 1 to be the special effect.
Yes.
Got it.
And by choosing the 1 to go to the result 6 result thing column, I have to spend 2 RPM to get myself out of deficit So it goes up to consequences.
Got it.
That consequences cost me 2 RPM, but because I assigned a 6 to wild card, I gained that amount of RPM spent on the challenge back.
And then Sabine has to give you a consequence from her challenge, and
Right.
Sherry gets to pick a consequence from that challenge as well, correct?
Yep. All right.
Mhm.
Now let's work out. There's one other thing to work out. So I'm adding 2 to the progress tracker because I spent 2 RPM. I just happen to get that back, but I may get more back because as los espectadores, you spent 2 RPM on this challenge to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
So that's your second spend, right? You should be down to 1 RPM.
Huh?
No,
Why
this is your first time.
no,
You haven't done
this is
anything
the
else. Okay, cool.
I have done that, and that's
Yep,
the only
yep,
thing
you're
I've
right.
done.
You're right. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm still trying to keep 4 different permutations in my head. Sweet. And then so just to do a quick check, we did 2 RPM there. We did 2 RPM Man from Self and Society, and then my 2 RPM. That's how we've got 6. So we now need to talk about the consequences. We have liability. Ruben is assigned a consequence as a result of the Campañero, and my results were consequences as well. You presented the challenge, Sabine. Sorry, Cody.
I was just going to say before we get into the consequences, should we like figure out what Ruben was attempting to do to kind of either ingratiate himself with the Sand People or to kind of gesture? Because I'm not sure exactly what Ruben's attempting to do to make this work.
Here's tell me, Sabine, if we get this far, but baby Ruben will introduce a little bit of, let me look at what it's called. I mean, he's got 11 kilos of Sweet Island. Maybe he cuts like a little bit of Sweet Island, thinking this is the best way for this group around a campfire to lighten up. It's here, let me share some of this with them.
Okay, and now I can say, okay, we do a scene crash and immediately change the scene location, move forward in time, and we are at the Tusken Raiders base camp, and we're all sitting there, and they're all smoking this Sweet Island while you're looking on. And then Cherry, you can do the liability thing and the liability consequence from there on out. Is that okay for you, or should I do something?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And I think that the consequence is that, let's see here. I think that Tia has tried some of it too, and apparently her reaction to it is to crawl into like the nearest safe cubby place and fall like deeply asleep with the most amazing snores that you have ever heard. So she is like curled up in the speeder, like on the floor under the seat, snoring wildly. There will be no stealth until she wakes up.
Nice. So again, we're still within the first turn, but do we want to continue this Sand People scene? Like, do you have a conversation you think that will happen between a Tusken Raider and Ruben?
I think we can continue this because I think the Raiders, they will gather around and have this stuff, but I think they will tell you in their sign language thingy, they will tell you that they are, well, that, as nice as that is, and they actually, they need to have more things. They need batteries mainly for their equipment, because everything it's hard out of in the sands, right? They're poor, and they can't go to and they can't go to Moshuda because they're not welcome there, obviously, because I mean they don't like these people. This is their desert, and well, yeah, they don't like going into Moshuda, and they will be shot if they do try. But it's hard because they have the scrounge equipment, and now they rely on the equipment, but they can actually charge that equipment. So yeah, but it's appreciated that you brought them something to smoke.
Nice.
things more easy. And I think that it hits one of the themes, right?
Absolutely. So you introduced a theme. You get
Mhm.
1 RPM back. I went ahead and clicked the checkbox, and you went from 3 RPM to 4. That's awesome. Very clever use of the theme.
Oh, sorry, and that's the wrong character. Sorry, Sherry.
That's
Well, you
okay.
you already did it. Okay.
Yeah, I did it. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. No, it's fine. I was just confused for a moment.
Now, do we see it as a challenge? Does Ruben have a battery or something to hand over, or are we cool with just saying, yeah, Ruben? Or does Ruben just like give them something just because he already gave him some drugs? Yeah, I think Ruben will be like, oh, that's rough. Yeah, we all got it rough.
Let me think here. What can I do? Can anybody establish a new theme based on dialogue spoken on this? I mean,
You could name one of the Tuscan Raiders.
I think, yeah, maybe I could, yeah. Or I could establish a new theme, like the fact that they can't go there, that they need an envoy, basically. Would that be cool? That they need someone to go into town for them and exchange whatever they have for this battery stuff, because
So
they
like
can't go
a theme
themselves.
of diplomacy or something?
Yeah, right.
Ooh, a new theme. Awesome.
Yeah, means it says put 2 RPM on it. What? Oh, right. These are the little boxes.
Yep.
Huh.
Diplomacy, is that what you wanted to call it?
Yeah, I didn't want to check this one.
Cool. I'm adding that to themes right now.
Ruben, as you stare outside of the Tuscan Raider tent, the farm, your eyes kind of vibrating with the slick. The tattooing night is cold. The wind is kicking up incredible dust, and the swirls impair your vision, but also delight. Tia is out at the speeder. She's not going to be very warm out there. And it's a little bit of a hike to get to where the speeder's been dragged or pushed by the banthas of the Tuscans. What do you do? I think I'm introducing a challenge here. Man versus nature. Ruben is challenged abstractly by the settings, such as overcoming physical obstacles, finding things, knowing facts about location, dealing with weather complications, animal attacks. Ruben's overcoming some physical obstacles, the weather, dealing with weather complications. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 RPM to create this challenge.
Awesome.
And unfortunately, Tia is asleep. She's out.
I think we hear the howling, like there's the juxtaposition of the howling of the wind from the sandstorm and Tia's snore that kind of pierces through it.
Oh, and also I will spend 2 RPM because I can. The hand of the people, describe how others aid or hinder Ruben in a challenge. And these Tuscan Raiders, they like you now. You're their diplomat. You're also you brought them the stuff they want to draw you into their sort back into right. Well, you try to go out and help Tia. So I think you get -1. I'm sorry. They're not trying to aid you.
Yay. Huh? A -1. That's not good. That's less than, okay, thanks. Wait, I already put the 2 on there.
You put the 2 for me, but you spend another 2. So after this, I think we're getting to that, right?
Cool. So once we resolve this scene, then we are going to once we resolve this challenge, we will be ending the scene or the turn. Exciting. Awesome. And maybe we do a quick 5-minute bio at the end of that. Okay. I am going to choose fighting because I'm fighting against the elements to make my way to Tia to bring her out of the into the warmth. Cool.
The -1 is applied to results. So.
Dang it.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I like it. All right. So here we go. Fighting the Sandstorm by Darude. All right, here we go. Thank you for getting that. All right. Oh, and you said you were taking that against the results, right?
Yeah.
The -1 to results. All right.
That's what it says on on the thingy here.
So what? Okay. So I have a 6 and a 4. The 6 on fighting is takedown. Add 2 to the results die. Ooh. And then 4 is not his first rodeo. If the results die rolled 3 or less, reroll. I'm going to put the 6 in fighting. So I add 2 to the results die, which pushes that 4 to a 6 minus 1. So I don't succeed excellently, is just success, but there's no consequences.
And
Ruben
after you finished assigning dice to the resulting kicker, the world keeps spinning. I'm going to spend 2 RPM to knock your result down by 1. So
You pushed me to a 5. Wait, a 4? A 4. You gave me
4.
consequences. That's awesome.
All right. So the consequences for here, and based off your rules, it looks like takedown. I cannot accept, or I can't choose a bad divorce or critical injury consequences in this challenge. So the challenges I can choose are broken and bloody, scene crash, recurring failure, curve in the road, startling new truth, a previous truth becomes false, or vice versa. I think.
Ooh, over the road.
Oh, this is good. I think I'm creating a recurring failure. Create a theme based on Ruben's failures, mistakes, or errors in judgment. Put 2 RPM on it. I think the theme, it has to be related to you kind of blowing off the sand people's request for help. I think you've turned your back to the light side of the force, as it were. Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, that's the theme. It's going to be turning your back. 2 RPM on it.
Sweet. Okay, so turn your back for a request for help kind of deal?
Yep, turning your back. Turning your
Sweet.
back on the light.
Nice. If you want to just type that in, go ahead. I feel like you, in this introduction of your challenge, that was Dust, Smoke, Obscured Vision. So you use that theme. So I'm adding that to checking off the theme and adding 1 to your RPM. So you're no longer at 0. Oh, okay, cool. Sweet. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nice. And so that is really interesting. Turning his back on the Tusken Raiders' request for batteries is part of our theme. That sounds cool. And
So-
that ends our first scene, right?
Can I do one thing?
Absolutely.
You do go out there to rescue Tia, and I do think that she wakes up for a minute and she looks at you, and the big eyes open up, and she looks like what do you say? That she knew you would come, and she sort of reaches a little hand up and she pets you because she has absolute faith in you.
Come on. And he picks her up, and I guess it's not Princess Carrie because she's tiny. This is like baby Carrie. Baby carries her. And I imagine maybe he's got one of those cool hoods going on, oil slick, and he moves back to the tents that the Tusken Raiders have. Or actually, let me ask you, Sabine, do you imagine that they had just tents set up, or was there some kind of outcropping of rock that they were under? What were they doing that we needed to get Tia back to?
I think it's actually they have tents. They're not very fancy tents,
Mhm.
and they are repaired often, but they are tents, right? And they can pack them up into the back of the Banthas and go on. Right now, that tent you put Tia in has 2 Tusken children in it. They wake up, they look at you, but they blink like little owls. They are cold cast, but they are very welcome. Tia is very welcome. She's warm. That's nice.
I like it. That's awesome. And that will bring our first mile marker to a close. And we actually ran over a bit. Let's take a 5-minute bio. All right, we're back. And because we spent so many RPM in the progress tracker, we're actually starting into the next scene. So the end of scene 1, the mile marker that we unlocked says the pickup at Saint-Otard goes sour or speeder chase in Moshuta. So that'll help us frame what our next scene is about. But first, we must assign roles. Let's see who has a hankering for
Do
a particular
put
role?
whatever your, do we like get new RPM at the start of the roll at the new scene? Or do we carry it over? Like at the end, I had 4 RPM for the
You-
La Casa Campañero.
You carry it over.
Okay, so you should put however much RPM you had in the roll thing. So whoever picks the roll has the right number.
Oh, no. The RPM stays with you. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Oh, I'm
so the
sorry.
4 RPM is your RPM no matter what roll you're at.
Okay,
Ways to regain RPM using or cashing out themes. The editor's rolls does some stuff. A few of the kick dice have results that generate RPM. We saw that. One of the mile markers on the progress tracker will dole out some RPM, and taking a roll that hasn't been played recently. So if someone is really low, like Cody, you could take Los Pianos or the editor, and you'd immediately get 1 RPM just from choosing that roll for this time around. Does anyone have a hankering for a particular role? Like, oh my gosh, I really want to try out this role, or I want to continue with this role, or I want to pick up a role I saw somebody else do.
We're having speeder chase. We need some villanos.
Yeah,
I'm just
we do need
saying.
some
Yeah.
Villanos.
So
I'm not opposed to Villanos.
neither am I, but I can also be Ruben. I don't-
well, be Ruben. We'll try
Okay.
swapping Ruben.
Okay, I'll be Ruben then.
And then.
That's
what are
okay
you
with
going to
everyone?
do, Cody? You're going to do the editor?
Sure. Yeah, I'll hop in and be the editor. Why not?
Okay, how about I'll try the road through the world?
Cody, I've given you 1 RPM from the editor by choosing it. I also
you already
earned
did
1
it.
RPM by choosing Los Labianos. The road through the world has been chosen again, which means that Los Campañero is not chosen for this turn. Neither is Los Espectadores. So they both will have an RPM on them. Oh, Cody, you were taking the editor?
No,
Oh,
wait.
I thought
Taking
you
the
were.
editor role? Yes, taking the editor role. I'm confused. What?
Do you want the editor role for this turn?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, as you asked, I accidentally hit the alt thing again, hit the alt button, and directions came up on Zoom, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? I don't want to edit anything. I'm sorry. What?
Cool.
Don't yell at me, Rich. I'm sorry.
Not gonna yell at you, bro. You're doing great. Now, let me remind everybody about the green light. So that can happen once per turn. If somebody gets excited and wants to make sure that a person can fuel a challenge to Ruben, you can click on the green light, and then that's 3 RPM. Actually, not just to Ruben, it could be to any role, right? It could be to someone to buy a challenge, that kind of thing. Cool with all of that. I'm going to shut up. We now have the mile marker of the pickup at Saint-Otard goes sour. So let me explain what Saint-Otard is. It should just take a moment. The Saint-Otard is in the adventures. So let me appendices. Okay. So the Saint-Otard Storage Center is a bog standard storage rental place in the desert, endless rows of nondescript, terribly hot lockers. So the mile marker says the pickup at Saint-Otard goes sour. I imagined that Ruben arrived with the 10 kilos. In fact, described Ruben having those 10 kilos of Sweet Island. 11 kilos now down to 10. Oh, someone has a potential picture for. Oh, that's a very hard and interesting. I like it. That's cool. That's what the Saint-Otard is. It's basically a pickup at Saint-Otard. We haven't really talked about. Ruben is here to deliver some slick, which is basically Star Wars pot, to someone in Moshuta. Let's.
If I may jump in.
Yeah, editor, please save me.
Thus far in our journey, Ruben Carlos Ruiz and his La Campaña Tia have barreled down the Jundland Waste Canyons as an engine, a blowout gave them a bit of a detour, sharing some fruit and a meal and a little bit of that sweet smoke with the Tuscan Raiders. They were able to spend the cold, dusty Tatooine night. The pickup can wait, but only a little bit longer. Bundling back into their speeder the next morning, the two heroes head off to Mashuta and San Adad to make the delivery. Proceed.
Nice.
Please give yourself 3 RPM for doing that. That was fantastic. That was very exciting. I'm like a movie.
Yeah, so I think we're approaching Lashuta, and essentially what it is there are, it's not that much of a town, but it's clearly like the place for the people who live on the outskirts here that they go to for all of their needs. And there's this kind of trickle of folks walking or hauling something along this route that you take. And there are a set of grazing animals clearly that are being brought to market, and they are all over the place. But essentially what you see are people who are just barely holding on, and they're all looking and trying to see if they can catch a ride with you, or if you'll give them something whenever you slow down for the grazing. Thanks.
Let me look at that. Will I do that? I think no. I mean, I've got my speeder full of this stuff and it's heavy, and the speeder is not a great shape, so I will turn my back on these people because right now I can't help everyone, right? You just can't. That way lies heartbreak and nothing else. I think that is hitting the theme of turning your back on the light here.
Such a harsh Ruben we've made.
Right.
It's just such a harsh world, right?
Yeah.
The speeder already broke down. It's barely fixed.
Exactly. Just barely made it in. So there's a kind of slow going, but you know that you're close to your destination because you can already kind of see that sort of battery of just lines and lines of, what do you say, the most ordinary beaten down storage containers. But the thing that's impressive about it is there's a pretty big fencing thing around it. So you're gonna have to pull up around to the gate, come through. And it's when you come in, essentially, there's a thing of the wind comes through here, but it gets slowed down, but it's still kind of hitting these lockers, and it's sort of taken all the paint off of them. And it's just like the sun hits it, and there's all this shine coming off of strange edges on the lockers.
Yeah, blink at this light seems like it's a bit blinding. But yeah, I look around, see if there's somebody here who will take on my delivery, right? Or somebody who wants to make trouble.
Well, I think you've summoned me. As Ruben looks across this Sanatod, the storage locker area, he sees there is as I look amongst the NPCs and places, yeah, I think he sees a long barrel carrying Trandoshan, tall, over 6 feet tall. I would imagine he would dower. I don't know how tall Ruben is, and it hasn't been defined. We do have a picture for him now. Very excited about. But yeah, there's a Trandoshan that is walking from one part of Moshuta, and it's obvious that he is not troubled like the rest of the people in Moshuta. His gear, his armor, his barrel, they're all in good condition. They're not brand new, but they're in good condition. And that's where Rich is not. I could have made him poor and finished out that theme, but I'm not gonna, because it doesn't feel like the right time. But he'll walk up and kind of do the thing where he slings the heavy part of the barrel over his arm, looks down at you. Is Ruben in his speeder, or is he just walking?
I think he's still in speeder. He's pretty suspicious of that Trandoshan guy.
He looks suspicious, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a gun and yeah. Speeder will break down probably. So, but we'll see. And he'll look at us and say,
Ruiz. He hisses.
Huh?
Are you Ruiz?
Yeah, you're the guy in charge.
Give me a slick.
Show me your credits. I mean, not just giving you a slick, right? We had a deal.
Give me the slick. He turns the gun a little bit like he's about to aim it at you. What do you do?
I get out my blaster, of course, because that's what you do when you're on Tatooine.
Man versus man challenge.
Yes.
I'm spinning 3 RPM.
Ooh.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. That's what I have to spin to be able to
Yep.
get you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The villain acts in direct opposition to Ruiz. He's trying to hold you up. He wants to take your money, or your slick. He doesn't care about your money.
No, I don't want him to do that. I want him to understand that that is not going to happen. I don't want to shoot him, but I will. But,
A cutaway.
Yes.
A scene happening away from the main action. Down around the buildings of this deal. 2 goons, a Trandoshan and a Rhodian, hop on a speeder bike and get ready to steal the goods.
Ooh, nice. Okay, I should roll, right?
Yes, you'll be rolling 2d6. You don't have a Campañero to do that.
Oh,
It sounds like you're using the
damn.
fighting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm using, I think that seems reasonable because, where am I? Because driving could also, no, I'm not driving away yet. I'm fighting.
Okay.
Oh, did you mark the RPM that?
For the cutaway, I did not. I only
Okay.
marked the
Okay.
RPM for my
In
introduction.
well, I meant in the progress tracker. Yeah.
I did not. I did
Okay.
not.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm rolling. Let's see how that goes. Oh well, 5 and 3.
5
Okay,
and 3.
I guess that's okay. Kinda. So let me make this a little bigger.
Oh, I have some bad news.
Oh no.
Liminal special rules. Challenges involving Ruben opposing the Fortuna cartel are extra difficult. Subtract 1 from the results die.
Damn it. So I can't use the 3 there. Or we go to no results. Let me still check what 3 punishment regarding of result. No, fighting. Lucky shot. Challenging player gets 1 RPM. Okay. 5 scrappy as hell. Add 1 to, oh, I'll take that one. Because that would add 1 to the results die.
Nice.
Or gain 2 RPM that cannot be used in this challenge. Yeah, I'll do the scrappy as hell and add 1 to the results.
Nice.
And that would set off your -1, so I get consequences. But I'm scrappy as hell anyway. So,
Okay.
Would another one plus
Roll
one
Z.
be helpful?
Let's see that re-rolled. Let's re-roll that 3. Everyone get an
Okay.
RPM. Let's see something better.
Okay. So
The
I
whole
have to
thing
get
or just one die?
just one die, right?
Yes. So Control Z, after Ruben has assigned dice in a challenge, force him to re-roll one of them. Every player at the table gains 1 RPM. So I want you to keep the scrappy as hell, but I want the 3 that you rolled for your results to be something else. So all the modifiers will still apply to it. It'll be -1 +1, balance out, but maybe it's higher than a 3.
Okay. Or lower.
Well,
No, it is exactly a 3. Sorry.
All right, it's exactly a 3. I think the two of you are joggling in there, and all of a sudden there's a sort of weird woof that you hear that tells you that there's a sort of spot sandstorm coming in,
Oh no.
and you can sort of hear it kind of rushing in from the desert. Everyone looks off to see how long they've got. You've got a second's delay from your opponent, so you can add a +1 to something.
Oh, okay. Either roll 5 becomes I could bump up takedown. I add 2 to the results die. I will add 1 to the 5 and get a 6. That's a takedown. Add 2 to the results die. So that's a 5, but that's a 5 then. That's a success.
Well, your consequences are going to be rough. So you should be thankful. Nice. So then it looks like you are successful. What does success look like, Ruben?
Well, yeah, I think it's what did we have here? We had the sandstorm, right? Yeah, the sandstorm really distracts that Trandoshan because they are hunters, right? And they are tracking movements and reacting instantaneously to them. So when that sandstorm hits, that Trandoshan is turning away from Ruiz for a moment, and that's enough for Ruiz to get out his blaster and just shoot the gun out of the Trandoshan's hands and point his blaster at him and says, "Hey, what, you want to rethink your stance here, buddy?"
Oh, so blaster in the face, giving you're offering some diplomacy here.
Yeah. I guess I am. Yes, diplomacy seems like I could use the. Yeah, that's 1 RPM for me, right?
Yep, 1 RPM for you, and I'll check that off. Sweet.
Okay.
So his eyes become squints as just little slits as Zerk stares at you, and he says, "Fortuna knows you're here. Give me the slick. The others won't be so nice."
I'm giving the slick to Fortuna and no one else, my friend.
He's not going to pay you.
We'll see about that, I guess.
Best you can hope to get out of this alive. Fortuna wants to send your head to Sagan. Doesn't want you here.
Oh, well, that's not great. I'm not giving you a slick. I'm not going to. Damn it. I think it's time for these guys with a speeder bike to come in, because I wouldn't know what to do now, because other than go to a cantina or something.
Yeah, I think
like
we hear the zooming
Yeah.
of here. Just a moment here, maybe. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, good. Then they've changed the setup of the hold on. Sorry, I apologize. I usually am quicker on the draw, but evidently a couple of speeder bikes come zooming in, and yeah, I think this is going to be the speeder bike chase.
Oh no.
Because the speeder bikes are coming towards you, and Zerk just steps back. I told you. And it was another Trandoshan and a Rhodian. Is that right, editor? And they're coming in blasters already firing.
Oh, dang, Ferric, I'll take off.
And coming in at you perpendicular is the wall of that sandstorm. It is tall and roiling, and it will eat your everything in front of it up and make it entirely impossible to see.
I have a bad feeling about this.
That should be worth an RPM. That should be a theme. What are we doing? This is Star Wars. Can I do that as an editor? I can't add themes. Somebody needs to make it a theme.
I can add a theme.
Having a bad feeling about this. It's Star
Okay,
Wars.
I will do that.
Fine.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
So bad feeling goes up.
Okay, so who challenges me now? Is it man versus man or man
Somebody
versus
pasted in
sandstorm?
Verdant Sword Alliance.
Huh?
I fixed it. Someone pasted over a checkbox with the words Verdant Sword Alliance.
Yeah,
I'm
and-
guessing it's Sherry because this sounds very hard to win.
Sorry, it does, doesn't it? I was trying to copy and I pasted.
I know. Just want to tease you.
There you go. Bad feeling.
I've set up another man versus man as these two speeder bike guys are coming after you, Ruben.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think
That's
you
a
might
good
be able to
question because
use,
there is two
yeah.
challenges, right? Like,
Mhm.
can you do that, or do they do one then the other, or do you do them?
You got to do one then the other,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Okay. Or
And
maybe
I
we
think
can
that
do it.
man's versus nature, like the results of man versus nature, could obviate the challenge with the man versus man as well. I've already spent the RPM in expectation of that happening, but if Road Through the World causes it not to happen, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. So I'm rolling again, I guess.
Yes, you're going to do the sandstorm because that came through first.
Okay. So sandstorm. So that's man versus nature, right? Sandstorm.
Yep.
It is.
Ooh. Let's see how that goes. Oh, wow.
How are you trying to meet the challenge? Like, are you using driver?
Yeah, I'm
Using
using
wild card?
driver. I'm using driver. I'm on my speeder bike junk thingy and I turn straight into the sandstorm because whatever you can say for that sandstorm, you can't shoot anyone in that because bastards will just get eaten by the storm, right? That's nice. So yeah, I like that sandstorm. Maybe, probably, who knows? Driving. Fiery wreck. The car is totally destroyed.
Oh,
Huh. I'm not usually outrun. Immediately establish the location of the next scene. Ooh, that's also nice. I think I will go for outrun and no result because then I have to pay 2 RPM. I've got enough RPM and take the consequence.
Okay, so
Okay.
2 RPM. We're pushing heavily into the very next thing because we're
Yeah,
now
but
4
that
into
means
the next one.
Yeah, but that means that immediately establish the location of the next scene. So that would obviate the man versus man because I
Okay.
just escaped.
Okay.
Is that cool?
No, that sounds good. And then let's take out the 3 that is spent there.
Yeah.
okay. So you do this and you do okay. So I think essentially what happens is you've turned into the storm and inadvertently you've kind of run yourself down into the ditch that gives you a little bit of how to say enough visibility to actually survive the next 5 minutes. So there you go.
Okay.
But
So
what
which
does the
car-
storm do to the 2 on the speeder bikes Road Through the World?
Ooh, I think that what happens is one of them tries to follow you, and they just go off into the thing. You can hear like screams after a certain point. You're not sure what has happened. The other one tries to follow the edge of the storm, thinking that you'll come out at some point, and they also end up just well off. But you can kind of see them. There's a shot of like the storm and they're trying to like keep running, parallel to it, but off. And there's a thing where they're kind of going down it and they hit part of the town and they get stuck in an alley. And then the sandstorm kind of goes through over them. So they get caught in it at the end anyway. And that's sort of the thing is the close of the scene is sort of the sandstorm descending on this biker who's run himself into an alley.
Okay. Now, it stinks because I don't feel like Sabine got as much time as Ruben, but that
That's fine.
does end the turn. So I'm
good with it. I got to drive a speeder bike into a
got to
sandstorm.
defeat the Trandoshan. And all right, in the mile marker 2, we will introduce Cheeto and Frisbee or El Cacti. Frito and cheese, Cheeto and Frisbee and El Cacti. There is a picture for El Cacti because I found a grand that just looks like a scum bucket to me. But Cheeto and Frisbee have no species defined. So we will make them whatever we want. Let's keep that in mind as we shuffle things up.
For these new NPCs, Rich, if you're who's controlling them in a scene? Is that the expected?
That would be Los Espectadores. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I remembered when I told Sabine, hey, you've got a -1 because you're going against the cartel. I remembered that we had a scene in the Tatooine desert. We opened with one that unlocks La Extraño. That's the supernatural, the force, what have you. So you may now choose that among the other roles. You, I, anyone may now choose that. We did not have the Campañero or the Los Espectadores in the last scene, so that an RPM will be granted to anyone that chooses either of those 2 roles. We need to introduce 2 characters or 1 character, and we need to choose roles. So does anyone have a burning desire for a particular role?
I'd like to be Los Espectadores, please.
Take it. And take 1 RPM for doing so.
I'll do the companion again. Yeah.
Fun. Taking an RPM for doing so. I'll add that for you.
Who's going to be Ruben then?
It's me or you, I guess. You want to stay Ruben?
Either that or I choose Extraño. Soprano, sorry. Or the road through the world, but I feel we had enough world for a bit.
Yeah, we've had a lot of sandstorms.
So
your
do you
choice,
want
Sabine.
to be?
Which you have a preference?
I can't say Ruben. I mean,
Okay.
That's cool with you?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
totally cool with me.
Oh yeah, cool.
Let's see. Who do I want to be? I think I want to have a scene without the villains. So I don't need to earn RPM so bad. So I'm gonna take La Extraño, the weirdos, the strange, unknowable weirdness of the universe. And I get an XP or an RPM for that, for taking it. I'm just doing the RPM adjustments. Good. Okay.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to meet El Cacti. You should have 3 eyes, not 1.
What? One of the eye stalks is a little busted. You know that, Ruben. We've been through this before.
Yeah, he's still got enough eyes.
More than I need. I saw you in that ditch outrunning the cartel. We need to get you out of here. Who are you trying to meet? Hey, follow me. And then El Cacti, I think, leads Ruben down through that wash that he escaped into the sandstorm into around and into a safe house. I like El Cacti as Star Wars. It's El Cacti if we're speaking the language, man.
Yeah, well, okay. I was trying to meet Bib Fortuna to bring him some slick, but I guess he's gonna try and rip me off. At least that's what the Trandoshan said. And also I need to figure out some way for some hermit friends of mine to get some batteries.
Who you working for these days?
Some guy. Some guy with horns. Sagan. And I'm trying to get some people who help me to get something for them, I guess.
Right. You mentioned you got batteries or whatever. It sounds like you're working for Jarl. You're doing jobs for Jarl now. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, Ruben.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time since let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that anymore. You know, Ruben, you're trying to sell to Fortuna, and he's just going to rip you off. What if I take it off your hands? Now you don't have a target on your back anymore.
That would be the first time in my life that I don't have a target on my back, but yeah, you're gonna pay me for that?
I think Tia at this point comes in through the door, like she sort of has to have opened it herself, and then she goes back out, waddles back out, pulls her bag through. And so while you're having this discussion, she's pulling her huge bag through the house.
It's not so much that I can pay you now, Ruben, but at least I can take it off your hands. And then when the creds come in, the creds will flow. Yeah, the creds must flow, they say on Arcus, where they make this stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that before. And you know what? And they never flow my way.
It never flows our way, does it, Ruben? It's just tough in this new universe. Oh, it's the Empire, it's the Republic. It doesn't matter. It's always the 1% at the top. But Ruben, if we do this right, if we play this right, we can get a little bit of that for us. A little bit of that bantha cheese for us down here. What do you say? Let me offload the slick for you in Mos Espa. Bing, bang, boom. It'll be beautiful, baby.
Huh. And I look at Tia.
Yeah, and I think Tia has walked over into another area of the room, and she sort of stops, and you can see her eyes get really wide, because there's another person back there with a gun hiding. And you see her kind of start to take a step back. You can't see what she's reacting to, but
Tia, what is it? What's going on?
and I think, let's see here, what would she do? I think she kind of goes she does a little howl, and she leaps at whatever it is back there. And the next thing you see is she's wrestling some guy with a gun.
Whoa, little one, get off my partner. What are you doing? And I will spend the 2 RPM to the creation of a man to create a new character.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Introducing a new character, of course, name them, describe how they look and what they are. This is another Gran, same race as El Cacti. They have a DL-44 blaster in their hand. And you know what, actually? They don't have a blaster in their hand. What looked like a blaster is some sort of small metal cylinder. And this Gran is wearing a dark black robe.
Oh.
That's my friend. We call him Extraño. Don't worry about him. Get off him. If you want to offload this stuff, you need to. Yeah. Ruben, who is this new partner of yours? What happened?
Tia, get what's going? Tia, come on. What are you doing?
Savaging his kneecap is what she's doing there. So.
Tia, come on, calm down, please. Stop attacking.
Nice.
And sorry, sir.
Since it's been introduced, I think what we have is the Gran reaches a hand out and doesn't grab Tia, but just gestures, and she hovers up in the air and kind of rotates a little bit as you can tell that this figure did that.
Oh hell no. I will look at him, and I will make a small gesture and say, "You will put her down." with a certain weight in my voice.
Ah, you expect to talk this out then? And I'm introducing the theme of diplomacy because I need it. And the good news is that finishes out that theme. So
Yeah.
I get one for introducing it. And when a theme is closed out, then everyone gets another RPM. So we all get one, and I got an extra. So I just
Nice.
there's
I added a NPC for our friend here.
oh, thank you. I'm scared to go look, but I'm going to right away. Nice.
Where is he? Oh,
he is
nice.
down on row
Yes,
22.
I see him. I like that code.
That's a nice code. He's got a dope code.
Yeah.
He says,
I only run with the finest, you see.
Tia, I think we're leaving.
I think that she nods and she hurries up and she leaves. And the thing that can catch is she's like running out the door past Sabine, is that she's left her bag behind.
Oh. Well, I don't think Ruben will try to pick that up. I think he will keep his eyes on that Gran and say, yeah, well, I don't think we need to fight this out, do we? Really?
Ruben, we don't need to fight this out. Hold on, if I may, your friend, they left their little bag here. And I'm going to introduce a challenge, man versus society, such as this is an abstract challenge of knowing about people. El Cacti here and his friend Extraño are they're really trying to be on the up and up. It doesn't matter that this guy's scary. Cacti doesn't know that you have this history, I think. But so yeah, it's a challenge of him trying to almost persuade you to go along with the deal. After all, he wouldn't let your friend leave her bag.
Fair point. My friend, her bag, and that was that. Yeah, okay. I'm rolling. Wow, it's a good roll, I guess. 4 and a 5. And I'm doing the wild card here because diplomacy, right? And you're in the scene, Tia.
Yes,
so
yes,
you
yes.
can roll another die, and we'll see how that
Okay, if that's
comes out. I think.
useful. Let's see here. So I rolled a 1. I don't think that you wanted.
No, something really disastrous happens to us Campañero with dramatic injuries or luck. That
Yeah,
I don't know. Probably not. So we have a full better luck list if the results dies 2 or less. Nope. From adversity, create a new theme related to the circumstances of this challenge. Oh yes, I will do success and from adversity because I want a new theme related to the circumstances, and I think it will be the dark side. I mean,
so I just kind of want to propose something for this man versus society challenge. It's kind of like a social encounter. I think if Ruben succeeds at this social encounter, it might not that he gets out of it. It might be maybe Ruben tries to get one over on Cacti.
Oh yeah.
With the plan to
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Ruben pulls himself together a little and says, okay, here's the thing though. We sell the stuff to your contacts, but I'm staying on with this. Just so I can keep my eyes on this guy and point to Extraño.
Yeah, you drive a hard bargain, Ruben, but you know, I can't help it. I love you. Let's get out there. Let's sell these goods. It's just like old times, Ruben. Just like old times.
Yeah, been shot at. Yeah, feels like old times. Yeah, yeah.
Always.
I think I'm going to spend 2 RPM now because Tia is sort of in the scene, but she's at the door. And you see her take something out and she presses a little button and then you hear a little dunk, 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 like something's doing countdown in her bag. So
I'm going to green light and give immediately 3 RPM to the scene or whatever that does. It's worth 3 RPM, so I can spend it on other things is what that means. Howell, I guess I don't really have anything I would spend it on.
You're greening lighting. Just so sorry, the 3 lights. So the green light, go daddy go, bring the hammer down. When a fellow player is just killing it, throwing out brilliant ideas, fantastic descriptions, evocative challenges, toss them the green light as an acknowledgement of their prowess, and they get 3 RPM.
I'm giving 3 RPM to Sherry.
Awesome.
Can we all give out the green light, or is that just one?
Once per turn, anyone can give out the green light. Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I should have given that to Cody just for the eye patch, but
I know we should have.
Forgot about it.
We'll remember it for next time.
Yeah.
Cool. So you just got 3 more RPI. You went. Yeah, you went. Yep. There you go. Cool.
I got a ton.
So it's ticking.
Hearing that scene, yeah, El Cacti like slowly turns to the door. What's this then?
Tia goes and gets back in the speeder.
Extraño, we should probably wait here for a minute.
I'll go and talk to Tia.
The beeping was in your bag, is that right, Tia?
Yes.
Okay.
And the bag was left behind, or you took the
Yeah,
bag?
he's got it in his hand. El Cacti's holding it.
Yeah.
So real quick, we didn't actually resolve Sabine's challenge with Ruben's challenge with that. So you introduced that new fact. You ran off. With that in mind, I guess, Ruben, how do you allocate your dice and yada, yada, yada?
I have. I did allocate my dice. I used from adversity, create a new theme related to the circumstances, put 2 RPM on it. That was dark side.
And then the result?
And the result is a 5.
A 5. So you succeed. So in your version of success, it's you guys getting out of there, basically?
I think success in this case is, making it the deal with you in a way that, but obviously it's not that easy because we have a new complication introduced. We were at a point where we had resolved our differences, and then Tia did the blinky thing.
Okay, sorry, I was struggling.
No, I appreciate you asking. So I'm a little confused. The deal is, hey, leave the drugs with Cacti.
The deal was proposed that, but Ruben succeeded in navigating the discussion to say, we'll do that, but I'm sticking with you. We will go sell them together. Whoever you're offloading it to, I'll be there for it. And El Cacti is fine with that because El Cacti always wants to get one over on his old partner. So I think in this moment, then knowing that the deal is good, and then Cacti is holding this bag that's beeping, he looks at Toronto, throws it in the back of their safe house, and runs out the door. They're not going to have all the everything useful that they might normally have because their safe house is about to be blown up, presumably. But everybody's in it together at the moment.
A bummer. And I think Extraño just exits the scene. Like he's not the tag along kind of character. So then the safe house blows up behind you guys.
Yeah, I just walk out while the safe house blows up.
Ruben, do you want to use your free switch to swap Rich for something else since the Extraño is leaving the scene and we're at the next mile marker?
I think I should do that. Yeah, Rich, what do you want to be?
Cool.
Do you want to be the world?
Yeah, I'll be the world. And since the world wasn't chosen, that'll give me an RPM. Thank you. Cool. The road through the world. All right. The flames lick high and the sand slowly comes across the fiery safe house to keep from spreading the fire by smothering it, as everything in the desert is smothered by the sand eventually.
So one
Okay,
of the things is where the fire was, this is just a thing, I'll spend 2 points for this. Essentially, as it dies down, you see like another thing pop up, and it sort of digs itself down, and then a hood comes off, and it's like there's a little sapling there. Like all of this was a tree planting device.
oh, oh,
So it wasn't a thermal detonator. It was an explosive tree planting device.
yeah, well, they can, yeah.
It's Tatooine, you have to get, crack down far enough so that the tree can get to water, so.
You know, usually, little one, we like to plant more hardier plants to withstand the desert heat, but that's a hell of a way to plant a tree, I guess.
She nods.
So, Ruben, now that your accomplice here has blown up my house to plant a tree, very thankful. I'll take that off of your cut, of course.
Oh, come on. Trees are more valuable than most of the stuff that you have here on Tatooine. You should be grateful to her.
It's absolutely more valuable to the people of Tatooine, of which I count myself one sometimes. But you know what's more beneficial to El Cacti? That's going to be credits. It's going to be cold hard credits, Ruben. So how about this? My speeder bike's around the back. I'll lead you. We're going to head to Mos Espa. We'll make my contact, and we'll off-road this slick. How's that sound?
I think that sounds, you know what? It sounds reasonable. Still have a bad feeling about this. Where did your friend go?
Let me, what, who? I don't see him. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about him. He comes and goes. He's a weird one, What are you gonna do?
So it feels like we petered out a little bit here. Let me take a look at advice if you're stuck.
We're in the scene, like in the next one. So what is our mile marker here for this?
No, we haven't gotten to the next one yet.
Yeah, we were one shot.
Oh, I thought we were.
We need to spend more
RPM.
Well, I can't spend RPM to do anything unless I have to roll. So.
Well, what does Ruben want to do next? Are you actually doing the turnover? Maybe you need to figure out where to find. You could either, where do I find Fortuna or the cartel that's not going to screw me over? That would be a man versus society, right? To find information. If you say, oh, well, I just want to travel there, then I could present some kind of nature obstacle.
Yeah. Then we're going to Mos Espa with El Cacti and Tia, and maybe something goes wrong on the way.
Cool.
Right.
Okay. So you're headed to Jabba's palace with them on the way, and I think man versus nature is the only threat that I've
saying.
Are
we headed to Jabba's palace?
I don't believe so. El Cacti is leading you to Mos Espa.
Okay. Wow.
But I imagine that El Cacti is trying to. I'll speak the truth out loud. I think El Cacti is trying to get you into the desert to get you turned around and take the stuff. That's his goal. Heading into the desert, since we're probably gonna hit a new scene and who knows what's gonna happen there. That's El Cacti's motivation at this point. He's gonna lead you off away from everybody else where he thinks he can get the upper hand.
You know what? You go and take the Villanos roll for that, because I feel that plan calls for a Villano instead of you being just a spectator. Right?
All right.
Because I feel that that's a pretty natural switch, right?
So by the way, we're actually supposed to, technically that's once per turn, and you already flipped me.
Right. Damn.
And we're still in that same turn.
Right. Oh, okay.
I knew that, but I was like, it says down here, like, be a little loose with the rules.
You can't be loose with the rules, and if you want to do that, that's fine. La Villanos hasn't been chosen this turn, so you'd get 1 RPM for doing that. And
So,
do we end it with the villainous turn of El Cacti? How are you saying it to Star Warsify it?
so cacti, it would be Star Warsifying because cacti is how you say it.
Cacti. Okay.
Cacti, like Shakti.
okay.
You know, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. It's like hand in glove.
Yeah, hand in glove.
Mhm, mhm.
So I can spend 2 RPM, describe the acts of the opposition or results of the opposition's actions, scene the crime, calling card,
Mhm.
to harm bystanders. Okay, I have to do the man versus man or some other thing first, and I can't afford to do man versus man. So I feel like it should be man. I feel like it should be a nature thing right now, right? Just because they're
Mhm.
getting
Sure.
into
Yeah.
wits.
Sure.
But-
I don't want to do
Or-
another sandstorm, but I
Yeah.
would love. What are some
Okay.
ideas for a man versus nature threat for Ruben to face here that isn't another sandstorm? Well, there's lots of stuff in the Tatooine desert, but what are some ideas?
Great dragon.
Great dragon. El Cacti leads Ruben. Ruben's speeder is much louder. El Cacti drives Ruben in front of a crate dragon lair and waits for the crate dragon to do his business.
Oh dear Lord. Okay, fine. We're just gonna hit all the we're gonna hit all the bits. It's fine. Everything in Tatooine. This is like we're on a Disney ride. It's like all the
Cherry, I think you
Yes.
were going to say something, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I was going, I could, but here's the thing is Crate Dragon sounds like a fine opportunity to be a know-it-all in. So,
Love it.
Cool. Well, a crate dragon is nature, so I will spend the 3, and yeah, the rumble of the jalopy of a speeder that Ruben is driving awakens a small crate dragon, like a baby crate dragon. It's only 20 feet long, and it will rise
Pretty
up out
small.
of the sand and try to bite the speeder.
El
Yeah.
Cacti revs it up and speeds up, and he just kind of laughs back. Have fun, Ruben. I'll sell that slick all myself.
What's the know-it-all that Tia wanted to do?
so I think there's a thing of when El Cacti like sort of goes over that thing, she leans forward, like she kind of knows something's up. And then as we hit the patch, she leans over and grabs the steering thing and sort of yanks us right out of the way of the crate dragon. I mean, it still pops up, it's there, but she will push such a just like will narrowly miss it.
So I've already put the challenge on the floor.
Okay,
and I think
no. Okay,
know-it-all
so
just
we're gonna
gives
kind of-
information,
Okay,
right?
cool,
Like,
cool. All right. That's good. Then let's see here. So it gives the okay. So all right. So it's true go. Oh, you're right. I'm right. I'm sorry. I read it incorrectly.
It's
Okay.
okay.
So yeah, I think when that happens, she sort of turns because essentially silence is our only option then at this point. So she like, I think, would that be a thing of we're in the middle of it, but our way of getting out of this is going to be going all silent. So she's like,
Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that I was not aware of that. That silence is very helpful. And I think Road Through World Challenge Great Dragon. I think in this case I will actually try to use driver by
Okay.
just cutting, hi Beaker, just cutting the engine and just sliding away because that's just following TS advice.
nice. I like it.
So I'm rolling. That will go very well, I'm sure. Well, it does. It's a 6 and a 4.
6 and a 4 is pretty good.
So I think I will do, I will do the 6 for the driver to outrun. Immediately establish the location of the next scene. And I will have consequences because I want to have consequences.
And so you went 4 on Sorry, I'm just
Mhm.
looking
On the results.
on the consequences. Awesome. And I could burn 2 RPM, but I'm already getting consequences, so I think I'll just leave that.
Mhm.
So you were silencing the speeder
Mhm.
in an attempt to get away
Mhm.
as Cacti. Does Cacti have the drugs, or is he planning on picking it off the carcass kind of deal? Okay.
Yeah.
And so he drove away to stay away from the crate dragon. Ruben is trying to coast away from this, and you got success with consequences.
Mhm.
And what was the result you put in the kicker?
That was the 6. We will start out in the Mos Espa after we resolve this problem, I think.
Immediately established the location of the next
Mhm.
scene. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you for helping me. And I think what I'm going to, I'll just do. I'm gonna be mean. Broken and bloody to
Ow.
the Los Campañero.
Oh no.
Yeah, somehow Tia is injured. Maybe the crate dragon comes up, bites along the side, and Tia is injured, not killed, injured in the escape. But then you kick the speeder in gear. Now the crate dragon is riled and head away, and you don't go to Mos Espa like El Cacti's going away. Yeah, cool. So that will end that particular scene. Rest and refuge. Everyone gets 3 RPM.
Oh, okay.
And not only that, we get to shuffle around
Mhm.
rolls.
Okay.
And I think we're going to hold that, Sabine, because you got it as a result. You'll still get to define where our next scene is.
Okay. So since this next we do a rest and refuge, everyone gets 3 RPM. Yeah, I think Cody's suggestion in the chat is good. It's a good one. Let's go back to Moshuda and take Tia, since she's injured, back to the monastery where she actually hails from, and see what's happening there.
Okay. So then let's figure out roles. What do you want to play, Sherry?
How about that weird force power?
Cool.
I'll take on Ruben then.
Love it, Cody. I'm so proud of you. I thought you were
Yay.
going to avoid it the whole time.
Sherry, do you mind if I took the Campañero?
Not at all.
Okay. Okay. I think I'll be Tia because she's injured now, and I think she should be in this. She is.
Okay. Dang, there's a part of me that just wants to go editor because I haven't done it.
Go for it.
I think I will.
Good.
I'm going to be the editor. Let's switch over to that. All right. So what's not chosen this round are the villains, the road through the world, and the spectators. Cool. And everybody's gotten a 3 RPM. And now it is time for the editor to do a started a new turn, recap what's happening.
Make it like a movie, Rich.
I know.
If it's not exciting, we're not going to let you take the RPM.
Oh, damn.
We're not going to let it happen.
Hold on. It says make it exciting. Gain. It doesn't say gain 3 RPM if it's exciting. I mean, technically. After some misadventures in the Tatooine desert, Ruben decides to take the young Tia back to the heart of the Wills, the nunnery, smack dab in Moshuta, still carrying that 10 kilos sweet island on his back that's got a target drawn across his heart. Will Ruben be able to get his friend healed? Or will he just bring her more trouble? Yeah, I'm taking 3. RPM, screw you. Cool. So, Los Campañero, what does the nunnery in the middle of Moshuta look like?
It is, well, I don't think it's very spectacular. Let me look at that. Yeah, it is. It is. It used to be a great kind of structure, not ostentatious or pompous or anything. Just a nice little thing that you would have in a desert with these rounded domes and stuff like that. Used to be that. Well, sandstorms. That one thing when the great crate dragons were swarming. That yeah, and they try to repair it, but credits are tight, and people who can actually fix things are, well, not a lot of them in Moshuta, really. So yeah, a lot of it's kind of fixed with canvas stuff to keep the wind out, but it's only partly successful. Looks rather impoverished, to be honest, and it has I think besides Tia, there are 3 nuns of 3 different species. One of them is a Twi'lek who used to dance for Jabba but got older and hurt her leg, and well, the other one is a human, and the third is a hut, actually. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm thinking I hit poverty here.
By hitting poverty, you will close out that theme. You earn an
No, I don't. I won't. I just put the second thingy in there.
Oh, you just now? Okay.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
there were
Thought it
already
was
2
already
marked on
done.
poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were 2 on poverty, and it started with 3.
Oh,
So this
okay.
will be the
Oh,
3rd
right,
one.
right.
So you'll
Yeah,
get an
then
RPM,
yeah,
and then
okay.
everyone gets an RPM because that theme is closed out.
Oh wow, so many RPMs.
I know, so much RPMs. People need to burn these. I wish there were more ways to spin RPMs, to be honest.
I will tell you, introduce a new fact or revelation, though, that Ruben was not aware of. I will explain about all the 3 other nuns, and I will say that the hot one is actually Java's younger sister, who was kicked out of the family, but
All right, you're starting to dip out of Los Campañero ways, but so let's.
No, know it all. Introduce a new fact or revelation of the current
Okay.
situation. That is exactly what I'm doing.
Sweet. I'll mark the progress track. Good job. Way to use your power.
So yeah, I see Ruben kind of kicking in the battered door of the Our Lady of the Wills and yells out, "Hey, I need help here. I need help here. Who else is here? Is anybody here?"
Let's see here. I think I'll spend my 2 RPM. And essentially you kicked in the door and there's another gate that's in front of you and it opens. And then you see another gate beyond it and it opens, and another gate beyond it and it opens. And then just past that, you see like a tree, a single tree, very green in the like deathly sun of Moshuta.
Is this a vision quest, or is this the free move? You're just narrating something inexplicable?
What can't happen happens. So I added a supernatural element to what's going on in the story. So essentially the monastery has got some sort of welcoming energy that's beckoning you towards that tree. There you go.
Ruben kind of blinks his eyes, clears his vision, and I think he has a sense across the back of his neck. He feels what might be happening here, and he kind of looks over his shoulder, and he looks around, seeing no other entrances, no other help, shakes his head, exhales, lets out a loud sigh. What I do for you, Tia? And he walks through the entrances, into the next entrance, towards this impossibly green tree in the middle of the Tatooine desert, in the middle of a ratty town, Moshuta, a shanty town. And when he gets closer to the tree, he calls out again for more help. Whoever's here, whoever's doing this, I need help. Your someone who worships you needs your help.
We're going to cut away from that tense moment of you calling out to the wills or to the force. We do a cutaway, so I will spin an RPM and adjust the progress tracker. The cutaway is to Bib Fortuna's palace, what was Jabba's palace. He's sitting in the throne that we see Jabba in Book of Boba Fett, like that throne where he was murdered in. He's sitting there, and we see the Trandoshan, who Zerk, and the Trandoshan says, "My lord, Fortuna, Ruben Ruiz is in Moshuta. I tried to take Sweet Island from him, but he was protected by the sand." And Fortuna says, no, we must buy it from him. Take the rest of the crew. Find him. I want his head. We will send it to Sagan. And he gestures with his long nails. And I can't do the Bib Fortuna awesome accent. Like, this is so cool, but I can't do it. So now I'm going to try. And that is the cutaway, is that Fortuna is sending more forces to the wills, to this nunnery. But I think that maybe a man versus the unknown is the challenge that we were at the doorstep because Ruben was asking for help. Sorry to call for somebody else's thing. I apologize.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. So man versus unknown, I can do that. Yeah, I mean, there's this tree here. No one's answered your call, Ruben. So I'll spend the 3 to take it to a challenge. What will you do?
Ruben feels this lack of response as he calls out to this entity, and he knows what he has to do, but he doesn't like it one bit. And so he lays down Tia amidst the roots of the tree and gets down on his knees and clears his mind. And he tries to commune with the Force. So I'll be rolling. So 2 dice. This is wild card. This is not fighting in any way, shape, or form, or driving. So let's do this. 2d6. Commune with the Force. Double ones, baby. Just what I like to see. All right. So reversal of fortune. The challenger gets back the amount of RPM they spent on the challenge. So Extraño, take that 3 back. No result, and at least 2 RPM to get out of deficit.
Hold on.
I get to roll a die, right?
Of course, yes, you are there. You're just
as Campañero, you get to roll a die, and also I'm going to Control Z to force you to reroll one of those ones.
Oh, why? I'm loving this. Okay, all right.
But let's see what Campañero does first.
I have a 5, so that would be
Lucky Charm.
Lucky Charm.
Okay.
Yay.
So both
you can add 1 to the results die.
Okay, then I'll have you re-roll the kick die, or the one that was going to wild card, right?
The one was wild card, yeah. So that's what gave the Extraño their RPM back. So if you already checked that, undo that, Sherry.
Okay.
Okay, so my one result is going to be a 1 result, which will be bumped to a 2 result. I gain
So you
1.
still got to pay, RPM.
I gain 1 RPM from the lucky charm. So let me re-roll the Control Z on the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be punishment, regardless of results. Assign Ruben a consequence of this challenge. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I have to pay the 1 RPM to bump my 2 to a 3. At least. I at least have to do that. I'm going to spend 3 to go 2 to 5.
I think you just spend 2 and then you get a consequence and that's it. It's not like to add.
Let's say at least.
Which makes me think I can spend more. That's where I'm going for it. But let's look in the results. Rolling a 1 or 2 puts Ruben in a hole he's got to buy his way out of. Ruben's player now spend RPM to buy his way up to a legit result, 3 to 6. For every RPM Ruben player spends, he increases the roll of his results die by 1.
You can do it.
This is the only time we're yeah.
Good catch.
What I'm wondering is, does this spend RPM increase the progress tracker?
Yes, whenever RPM is spent, you hit the progress tracker. I love it.
Okay. So I'm gonna.
How much are you spending?
I'm spending 3 to bump my 2 to a 5.
Okay.
And then, so no matter what, I succeed. I commune with the force. I commune with Law Extraño, but there is a punishment, a consequence. So Law Extraño gets to apply one of these punishments.
Cool. So to reset, Ruben reached out to the wills, the force. That challenge happened. You were successful, but there is a consequence. Even though you're successful, Los Extraño, it's up to you. What consequence and what is the result? Like, he was trying to get help for Tia.
Yeah. And I think that what happens is, I'm going to say this to Sabine. For all practical purposes, you appear to die. So you should have your scene right here.
Okay. Yeah, I think as you commune with the force, you see that Tia's body becomes sort of a little oddly, almost starts to glow, and becomes translucent even a little. And she looks up at you and she says, Ruben, the force has always been there for you and will always be there for you. And I can spend 2 of my RPMs to introduce a new fact or revelation about the current situation. Yes. And I will reveal, what will I reveal? There is something on this planet. No, Cacti sold something of yours to Bib Fortuna years ago. Maybe it's time you got it back. Then she starts to fade away.
Tia, you can't leave me here, Tia. I don't want any of this.
Follow your heart.
And I think like all of those beautiful little sparkles that were coming out of her body kind of, swirl. Then like fireflies, they disperse up into the limbs of the tree. And I think that's when Jabba's sister sort of enters and said, someone here? And the tree.
Where were you?
Yeah, the tree has no glow in it anymore. Okay.
First, I would like to do a free the switch, I believe. Sabine, I'm going to switch you out. Who would you like? Which role would you prefer? The spectators.
Hold on a sec. We're actually, we spent so much in the progress tracker, we bled into the very next scene. So
that's what I was doing, was going for a next scene. So
yeah. Now we've entered mile marker 4. There's no way we're going to finish this story technically based on 8 total turns this session at least. So Dewback Stampede or the Nuns Fight Back. I was trying to set up the Nuns Fight Back. There is a little bit that I don't think I actually did. I stick it in the description? No, I didn't. So the nunnery actually has some defensive capabilities. That it says in the write-up that they have some AK-47s, but I just rewrote that as blasters, old E11 blaster carbines. So that could be a way. They're not just helpless, they're badasses. Actually, they're kind of awesome. So I just wanted to throw that out there, but we're in a new turn, so let's hit all that stuff.
So are we gonna we're almost at 1 o'clock. We're at 12:42.
Yeah.
So
we're like 20 till. Do we want to pause here because we're kind of at a halfway point and then we pick up next Saturday where we're at? Or do we want to try to push through this scene as far as we can get for 20 minutes?
I'm not in the game next Saturday, but and with this game, it doesn't matter, right?
Can you make it?
I mean, I guess, but I don't know if I think Joe is still in here. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
well,
take
we
her
could
spot.
potentially expand it one more or just have a conversation. I just want to know if you were still open that Saturday.
I think I should be. Let me check my calendar. I mean, I'm
Cool.
I'm moving.
We can, you and I
I'm
can,
moving,
yeah, I
right?
know you got a lot
So,
going on. So
I mean,
we-
it's fine. I've got next week off, so I think I want to do one thing, but I have a Bernalwood Bay game, and that's in the evening. That should be
let's
fine.
can we? I'm sorry, I asked the question. Let's just we can talk after the. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll pause here.
Mm-hmm.
I think possibly.
And I'd love to do just a quick bit of stars and wishes, and then we can call it. So we'll start with wishes so that we can end with stars. Wishes. I'll go wishes. The Los Extraño, I really wasn't happy with my Los Extraño, and I was really happy, Sherry, that you, and it leads into a star, but I'm happy with how you tilted it. I think just having a dude with a lightsaber show up was like, I saw the cue that Cody set up, but I took it in a very boring, uninteresting way, and I didn't love that. I was really disappointed. That I wish that I could have done a better job of introducing the weird and strange. Yeah, so wanted to throw that out as a wish. Other wish, I wish to see it felt shaggy, like like the thrust of who you're gonna sell it to and like what they're doing about it. I wish, like, do we have a conversation about that at the end, or like at what point do we say this is what's actually going on? Like it felt very almost like a early Peanuts movie kind of deal, like where it's like, oh, now Snoopy is doing some Red Baron shit. Like, what the fuck does this mean?
no, it feels very Grindhouse in that thing of you think you know what's going on, and then they have a conversation. You're like,
That's
wait,
true.
what?
That's true. This is why I don't watch a lot of Grindhouse. I think it's like, what? You're right, though. That is very Grindhouse. That is absolutely.
They clearly shot the scene before they knew what they were doing, and that's.
You're right, Sherry. You're right. You've got a good point there. Cool. So I guess just it's hard for me. Like my brain wants some kind of like through line, and it's hard to do when you got 4 cooks in the kitchen. I guess I don't know. That's the only wish I had, other than the wish my Extraño hadn't sucked balls, but it did. Who'd like to go next for wishes?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Zane. Oh, all right. I'll go. Oh, you go. I'm
Cody, please go. Oh, Cody's refusing to go. Sabine, would you mind going next?
No, I would not. I'm sorry. Wishes. Yeah, I wish we would spend more of these RPMs, and also I wish I knew what that meant. I mean, it sounds like it's sort of an abbreviation, but I don't know what it means. Anyway,
the RPM, they made the thing. RPM is the mile markers. RPMs is revolutions per minute. It actually says it means nothing, and then it actually later says, but if you want to call it something, you can call it this. But just know we made that up because people kept bothering about what it stands for.
Okay.
They just want a car sounding thing is really
Yeah,
the
it's not in RPMs,
Okay.
revving is sort of associated with it, right?
I get it now. Anyway, I wish we would spend more of these. There was one scene where everybody was throwing RPMs at that, and that I think that scene flowed the best because you really have to lean into these things, and actually might actually work better with 5 people, where you can have more of these roles in game. Maybe 4 people is a little few people for that kind of game, because sometimes I was like, and now we would really need some villanos or some spectators to show up or the road through the world, but there was nobody who was taking that role, so we couldn't have that. And that kind of made that thing like, we want to go in a certain direction, but we can't because this direction isn't there, and then we have to figure out how to deal with that. And that made it a little, I think, a little hitchy. Hitchy, is that a word? I don't know. You probably know what I mean about. So yeah, that's my wish. But yeah.
I'll jump
What's
in
funny is I'm sorry, I just wanted to speak to Sabine's. I originally had this signed up for 3 players, and as I was like figuring out, I'm like, oh God, I need more players. Like I thought having less players would make this better. And I reached out to Sherry and said, please, do you have time? I'd like to bring you into this. And that's why we have 4 players instead of 3. Could you imagine how bad this would have gone if we'd had 3? Not good at all. We would have had to say everybody takes 2 roles or something. I don't know.
Yeah, to kind of like piggyback on that, for my wish is, I guess, yeah, I wish, and this isn't for our game, this might just be in general. I wish there was more ways for the Ruben role to spend RPM. But I get why that's not the case. It's basically only just for roles, which means that the Ruben role needs to have a lot of challenges. And that's the problem with only having so many people. Like in this last chunk, we only had 1 role that could issue challenges, which means that a wish for the Ruben role in general is the Ruben role needs to at least once, it says a max of once, but the Ruben needs to do that switch for people. Like I should have switched out at the end there, Sabine, earlier when it became clear, like, oh, the Los Campañeros is not really here. I should have switched it out for something else, or I should have switched the editor to something else. The editor could spend the points, but that was just something I realized. It's like there's mechanics in the game that we weren't using each round, and it was clear, like when we didn't use them, it was clear why, like awarding RPM through the green light so that somebody could just start spending it really quickly. Because yeah, spending RPM is the way this game works, and just taking advantage of every tool we have would make those things work better.
Cool, thank you. And I think to forgive us a little bit, it's a lot. This game's got a lot of shit going on.
It's very simple, but it's a lot how it actually ends up working out, which is kind of the way that a lot of these are. I'm completely with Cody. I didn't figure that out until the end of the game. So, and as you can see, I'm down to a very tiny number of RPM by now. But it was like, I was like, oh, okay. So it's not just when it seems like a nice story beat, but I have to keep pushing all the time. So, but yeah, it's got some good stuff, but I do think 1 session to get used to it is not too big of an ask, because it was pretty cool what we were starting to do. And I do like the thing that it does have a kind of weird discontinuity that you go, oh yeah, Grindhouse, that's okay. It's okay. It's a movie that doesn't have a full budget, so we don't have all the players. We don't always have spectators, and we don't always have everyone in the scene. And sometimes we're a little aimless because they were shooting it because they thought it would be something cool, and it just it muddled a little, and then we edited it. It's just
that's fair, and that's a really good and
know?
forgiving way to perceive it too.
Yeah.
Did you have any
wishes?
Yeah, any other wishes? Sure.
Yeah, I love this thing that we got back to pushing our main character into looking at the force and the light and the path, and that's the tough part. It's just funny that we did end up on the path, so it was good. It was very Star Warsy. I wish I knew Star Wars better like you all do, but I enjoy every bit of it when you bring it in, and I learned so much, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to go watch it because those Lanai are super cute, and yeah, I should go pay more attention to these things. But it was super fun, and that's my only wish, is that I wish I knew Star Wars better, just so I could be a little bit more flavorful on that.
Oh gosh, don't ever feel like there's a you must be this tall to enter ever in this. I really
It would be
enjoyed that.
fun to be that tall, though. So
I mean, I don't argue that it's true. It would be fun to be that tall, but don't ever feel like it's a requirement, because I felt like your contributions were wonderful. Cool. Then let's circle back around with stars. You went last with wishes. You get to go first with stars, Sherry.
I want to say huge stars to Cody, who brought huge energy to each role he took. And it really helped me kind of figure out where my head needed to be and where I needed to be pushing things. And that was super important early on. That like what was appropriate at that time. Thanks to Sabine, who is always certain in whatever they are doing. I just love it because, again, it makes it so easy to play along with you, because you make it clear what you're doing, and it's such a gift in a game where you're all ad-libbing what's going on, improving totally without any rails or that thing. And that's what this felt like. And Rich, you were charming and generous, and you did a great job with going through these rules. So I felt like I had enough to limp through each scene. And then as I started to understand the mechanics and you guys were all working through it, it just felt really welcoming and good. And I enjoyed this game immensely. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Cody, what about you? Stars?
Yeah. Stars. First, big star to Sherry, because yes, the things you decided to throw into scenes were so wild that it was just like, oh, this changes everything. This was great. The thermal detonator, tree detonator, the bringing it around to the forest. There's all these moments where I was like, oh, and it was very often coming from you. So that was great. And then a star for everybody, because GM-less games are hard. I've played a few, and I played almost all of them except for once with the Gauntlet, and not all of them have been great. Not all of them have been pushed forward and happened. And the awareness of all of us here to say, oh, this is lagging a little bit, I'm going to try and speed this up. How can I do it? How can I make this happen? And if that was Sabine going, I'm going to swap this role for somebody because something new needs to happen. Just everybody being aware of how a GM-less game works makes it work. If it lulls, and I'm glad that the game has those instructions, but we didn't need to rely on them too much, because everybody was aware of the goal and was able to kind of pick it up if it slacked. So I just stars to everybody for being so involved, because that could make GM-less games a nightmare.
Cool. Sabine, did you have any stars?
Sure. Yeah, stars to everybody. Stars to Sherry for this delightfully quirky companion, and whatever she was doing was, you could never say, oh, that's probably going to happen, because it was not, and that kept us all on our toes, I think, a little. And also stars to Cody for, I mean, come on, starting out with the road through the world. That was a good call. And the eye patch and the cigarette, okay. The star on your head will be so large. Yeah. And Rich, thanks for bringing this game, and stars for giving a direction for Ruben. When first you played him, he already sounded a bit rough, a little like gravelly voice. And that gave us, I think that gave us all an idea of who that character actually was. That was well done, and also for explaining all the rules, of course. Yeah.
Thanks. Awesome. I'll finish off. Stars to Sherry for your contributions. Like, you had just enough Star Wars knowledge to make things feel different and vibrant and new and surprising, but still, like, you were open to couching it in the hidebound terms that I sometimes pull us to. So I liked that. It felt fresh. The things that you brought in, I especially love the tag of, oh, that wasn't a thermal detonator, that was like an explosive tree. Wow, that was cool. And the reaction, the mini doors, that was really, really cool. That actually reminded me of like a Ray moment, where there were like all the string of rays and the different, like, what does it even mean? I still don't know. And I love that. The world between worlds. Cody, you were fantastic. Everyone's already stroked your ego, so I'll just do a little bit more. Thank you so much for having such just boundless energy when you kicked off the game. It gave us such a thrust forward versus the like the sorry for talking about another game poorly, but like the Bob thing of like, oh, I love these characters and settings and what do we do? But the Cody's like boom, and it was great. And then the like, Cody's having camera issues again. Oh my God, no, he has an eye patch. This is the greatest thing, that you have an eye patch nearby. That was so good. Sabine, I really liked your Ruben. I appreciated that you took up the Ruben after me, because I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I've got a good Ruben going on here. And you're on point. And you also did a nice Tia. So that was really, really fun too. Really enjoyed this. Thank you all so much for giving this a shot. With that, we'll bring the recording to a close here. Thank you all.